Hello, everybody. Welcome to the show. We are live. Last week, we had a bit of technical difficulties with the audio equipment, the camera. Hope to have that resolved this week. So, if you are on the live, please comment. Let me know how you're seeing me, how you're hearing me. If there's any issues, we'll adjust that now before we break into the show. Today's format will be a little bit different. Sarah and Ben are out of the office. They're filming a new assembly video for one of the bikes. So, it will be myself. I'll be answering any questions you've got on the live. And then Troy will be coming in at approximately 2:15 to give a global status update where we stand on logistics. And Jason will be joining at 2:30 in 30 minutes to answer any mechanic questions, etc. I'm not seeing any questions here in the live chat yet, but once they come in, I'll be addressing them. So until there's any other questions, I will also go through the Indiegogo comments, look through Facebook as well, and any common questions, I'll be addressing those as well. Hey guys, thank you for joining, and I'm glad that you both hear and see me. Okay, Pat, MPF, thanks for being here. Give me a sec. I will be pulling up Indiegogo to see if there's any comments to address there. Did you guys catch the last production update that we sent out yesterday? MPF 200 asked, I am in San Diego. When I get my bike, can I bring it in to get assembled? Great question. Yes, we do assembly in the shop here. There is a small fee for it. I think it's 99 bucks. So depending on how handy you are, you could save some money by doing it yourself or bring it in for our experts to do for you. Right now, the volume in the shop has been a little low due to us being sold out of everything. We can't keep bikes in the shop at the moment. Can't keep them on the shelf. So we should have time to handle that assembly for you. Hey, Patrick, welcome. Great to have you on the live. So if y'all read the production update, Mike asked about being blocked from the Facebook group. I'm sorry about that, Mike. I'm not familiar with the reason why that was, but we have had several moderators through there, and this has been a common question. So that's something we're looking into in the future, how to integrate more people back into the group, make sure it's a positive, productive place. But apologies for that. MPF, can't wait to get some cool photos around San Diego with my bike. Totally, we can't wait to see them either. And we are looking for riders of the week to feature in our newsletter and social media. So once you do get the bike, please reach out to us with some photos and your story. We'd love to hear from you. CR, hola, ¿cómo estás? Okay, so while waiting for more questions to roll in, hey, Tommy, welcome. I'm just going to run over a quick breakdown of the last production update. If you guys have any questions on that, where we stand, please let me know. So, couple things. One, we're pretty much at the halfway point in terms of bike builds and bikes sent out so far. Super exciting. We're gonna have a big party once all the bikes are delivered. But until then, it's everybody's heads down, grinding to make sure they do go out. Couple things from the last week. Big wins and also a couple minor setbacks as well. One being the dropper hoods for the Sterling bikes with dropper brakes. So if you got the dropper brakes and a Sterling bike, we did receive a batch of the hoods. So that's the rubber covering that goes over the brake levers for those dropper brakes with a small blemish in it. So we had to pause production on those Sterling bikes with dropper hoods. And in the meantime, we'll be building all the other bikes, sending back those hoods to get new ones. Once they come in, Sterling production will continue. It shouldn't be a large setback for those. Again, we're building all the other bikes in the meantime. So in terms of total quantity of bikes produced, that won't be affected. However, there will be a small pause for the Sterling dropper bikes. So that's one thing. Another thing, Troy will be able to chat with us in a minute We do have a few logistics challenges that we're dealing with. One of them just being an extreme stress on the entire global logistics market. Both containers leaving China, leaving Europe, and also arriving at the US. With COVID, there's been an extreme increase in online shopping, in all the shipments. Also, a decrease in available labor because a lot of people are not going to work, not able to work, not comfortable to go to work. So, those two things have affected the availability of container space, shipments, etc. So, we had two containers prepared for Canada. One of them has been on the water. The other one has been waiting to get on a boat for about 10 days now. Still waiting on confirmation if it's been loaded or not, but just being able to get that shipping space has been a challenge. So, as soon as that container is loaded up, Troy will be sending out the shipping notifications for that second Canada container. Oh man, that coffee I had was too strong. I'm jacked up today. All right, let's read through some of these comments. Do you speak Spanish? A little bit. I'm actually learning on Netflix, watching some telenovelas. Patrick, do you have any idea how long it will take to fulfill all European orders? Great question, Patrick. Um, we are, in terms of all components delivered in Europe to build bikes, we're past the halfway point. I think close to two-thirds of all the components have been delivered. And then Troy will have better figures for you, so I won't tell you exactly how many bikes have been produced and delivered yet. But for all of them to be delivered, I think we're just a few months out from that. And pretty much around the world, it should just be a few months to get all the baby makers delivered. Walter, if I miss the email regarding delivery of my bike, does its delivery get pushed or just sent and surprise? Great question, Walter. Troy will confirm this. As far as my understanding goes, that shipping notification goes out, and we do not wait for a response from you unless it's a location where taxes are due. So typically, for the ones in US, for example, we send the shipping notification saying, "Hey, your bike is going out." That's when it's on the water. You've got some time to respond to it and let us know, "Hey, my address has changed. I'm not there," etc. If you do that, then we'll make an adjustment. If we do not hear from you, the bike will be shipped. So please be on top of your email. It will be whatever email you used when you placed your order on Indiegogo. So we have seen some where people have typoed that email address, put a .cm instead of .com, etc., and that will be missed by you. So please, if you are waiting on that notification, you can log into your Indiegogo account. Make sure that email matches your actual email address so there are nothing missed. You will also get an email when the bike goes out, so you get a tracking number with that, and you'll be able to track it to your door with FedEx. That's for the US. For other locations, it will be a different carrier. Oh, I'm gonna butcher that name, Mr. Hertzum, Thyge. I'm not sure how to pronounce the first name. Tig, Tig. I'm not sure. Any news on when touring packages will be shipped to EU? Thanks for your effort and a great bike. I'll defer that one to Troy as well. The first touring packages have just been loaded in a container. That's a little preview of next week's update. So, first touring packages, I believe, for the US have gone out, and they will be going out for other locations as well over the next few weeks. Dave L says, Rob, I'm still waiting on my Pro and standard BM bikes, but I'm going to pull the trigger on a Phantom board. Somehow I believe I'm going to get the board before I see my bikes. Dave, excuse me, the volume on the Phantom boards is much, much less than the Phantoms, than the baby makers at the moment. So that may hold true. Current estimates for the Phantom is March. We're pretty much on track for that. So if you do pull the trigger and you're in the US, you should see that soon. It may arrive around the same time as your baby makers. The bomb shizzle. I had one of two bikes delivered beginning of November, even though I got an address check email on both. How can I be sure you didn't forget the second bike? Hey, great question. I recommend that you email support@flx.bike, especially if you place that order at the same time and you got shipping notifications for both. It is possibly an error on the shipping notification. It could be because we were shorted. You said November, we were shorted. Let's see. how many bikes? We were shorted 15 bikes in a container that came in November. And so people who got shipping notifications, there were 15 people who got the shipping notifications where we just didn't end up having that bike because it didn't show up in the container. That was a big ordeal, but Troy's been working his way through those to get caught up on the shorted bikes, and it's possible yours is one of those. It is possible too. There's a lot of humans in the equation that a mistake has been made. So please reach out to us, support at flx.bike, and we'll be able to take a deeper dive on that. Julenko asks, "Are you a robot?" Sometimes I wish. No, I'm not a robot. Elon Musk, no. Mark Zuckerberg, that's a robot. CR asks, "I bought the bike in the official website. Does that make a difference in when I receive it?" Nope. So both Indiegogo orders and orders placed on our website, those are all pre-orders and they're fulfilled according to the date that you placed your order. So pretty much first come, first serve. There's a bit of variance due to all the different variants of bikes that we're making and also geographic locations. So if you ordered in Australia, for example, and you're 12,000, you might get the bike before somebody in Europe who is 800 just because Europe bikes have been taking a bit longer than Australia. And we did ship pretty much all Australia orders at the same time. You can tell I'm not a robot on how I'm tripping over my words here. All right. Hi, great pronunciation. By the way, are you aware the bell shipped to the EU bike is too big for the handlebar? Not a big problem. No, I'm actually not aware of that. If you could send us a photo of that issue, if there is an issue with the bell fitting on the handlebars, please send it to us so that we can get on top of it. Anytime there's a quality issue, something that's not right or that can be improved, please let us know so that we can make those improvements and build these bikes better for you. Walter, I understand delays due to Chinese New Year. Just out of curiosity, when do you estimate all bikes to be delivered in USA? Walter, over the next few months is our estimate at the moment. We're at about the halfway point right now in terms of all the bikes built and shipped out. Deliveries are a little bit short of 50% because they do spend some time on the water. And over the next few months, virtually all of the bikes will be delivered. Sorry, too much champagne over here. But anyway, can't wait to get mine. Love from France. Julenko, hey, thank you so much. And enjoy the champagne over there. Plus, robots do not drink coffee. Very good. All right, following up, I'll keep reading through that Indiegogo update. So, outside of the shipping space, we also did post in last week's update about 14 bikes being delivered to backers. However, they were the wrong color. There was a mix up at the fulfillment center. Still not sure how they messed it up. We were very disappointed by that, but we did recover all but 6 of those bikes. So 6 backers decided to keep their baby maker in the wrong color, which has caused a little bit of a downstream issue because every bike is built based on what you ordered. So in Europe, the bikes that were accepted in the wrong color caused that bike was supposed to be for somebody else, so we didn't have a bike for that person. So Troy's been working to catch up on that so that when the next group of bikes arrives to our European fulfillment center, those bikes go out to the right people that were expecting those and that we're all sorted out there. Rob, thank you again for fixing the moderator issue on Facebook, and these live updates really do calm the masses on the delivery issues and questions. Hey, Dave, thank you very much for that. There's quite a bit of feedback regarding how the Facebook group was managed, so made a few adjustments there. We're still new to Facebook groups and stuff. Not sure the best way to handle those to make them as productive as possible, but it's a learning experience for us as well. So thank you, Dave. All right. We do have a special guest in the house here. Troy, why don't you grab that microphone over there and set it up in front of you?
That's all your guests.
Troy's just walked in and let me crank your volume up. All right. Can you give us a volume check?
Good?
I'm not hearing you. Okay, now one more time.
Oh, how's that? Check.
Beautiful.
All right. I'll sit a little closer. I guess I was too far away last time.
All right, let me get this for you. A little closer. Okay, how do you guys hear Troy over here? Let us know in the comments. Troy is going to give us a bit of a global status update, just run down his list. And if you've got any questions regarding delivery, etc., he is right here to answer. Troy is the man, and he just got a workout in. No, I'm kidding. All right, go ahead.
All right. So let's start from the top. We'll start talking about U.S. deliveries. Couple of things. One, FedEx. When we ship out, we always send out a tracking number. I think Rob mentioned this before. Suggest that you always sign up for the FedEx Delivery Manager. That allows you to schedule delivery, SMS or email updates. You can do a hold, you can do a reroute, you can sign for it and tell them where you want them to leave it. Really nice tool. So when you get your tracking number, go in, sign up for the FedEx Delivery Manager, and suggest you use that. Best way to keep track of where your bike is at. I wanted to go back. I know some people have said they got notifications back in December, and they said they're still waiting. I do monitor social media a little bit. So what happened is that was container 11. That was one that we were trying to get out in December, and it ended up being delayed, really, again, because of port congestion. It didn't leave until the 1st of January. So I know some of you got notifications or address update notifications back in, I think, about 13th of December. They're not lost. It's just that the container was held up. So that one is coming. So that moved from like 12:15 departure to a 1:1 departure. And actually that container is due to hit the port of Los Angeles tomorrow.
Troy, sorry, Troy, can you clarify? So when did shipping notifications go out for?
I think they went out the 13th or 14th of December. So people have had, not shipping notifications, address verifications. I'm sorry, maybe I misspoke.
Got it.
Because we always ask people to verify their address, so we have the latest address. So,
Hey, so that I'm clear on this and that everybody else too. So the process is we send out a address verification
right,
once it's on the water,
yes,
and then once it ships, a shipping notification
that
with
is
the tracking
correct.
number.
Yep.
Cool. So if you're waiting on the bike, 2 emails. One is an address verification. That's when you have a chance. And how long do we give people to answer that?
We usually give them, it all depends on, we track the containers, but usually 5 days minimum, and sometimes up to 10, depending on the container. I'm still getting address changes on some of those. You're okay because the container was running late, but
So after the shipping notification, you get 5 days to respond to us
Yeah.
and let us know if your address changed, if you need any modifications. We can't change the bike model,
Right.
because it's already been built for you, but we can change your address as long as it's in the same country.
right.
After that, once it's gone out from the fulfillment center, that's when you get the shipping notification and tracking number.
Right.
Awesome. Hey, somebody left you a comment. Dave L. said, best move you guys ever made with bringing Troy on board. Let's give a
Thank
round
you
of
very
applause
much.
here.
Oh,
You can't hear it, but you're getting applause.
thank you very much. Appreciate that.
Thank you, Dave.
Yeah, appreciate that. So let's see what else I had. A little bit more on U.S. fulfillment. Right now, we're at 36% of our entire campaign fulfillment. And that's where we're at. We're moving along. And actually, that's going to pick up steam here right after the Chinese New Year. So we have 3 containers, about to be 4 on the water. Like I said, one of them's landing tomorrow. The Chinese New Year is going to kind of put a pause on everything. We had the new factory coming online. We were going to move 3 containers, 533 bikes from the new factory. We weren't able to get any space for the containers on the, for any of those on any ship. We got one that's going to be traveling. So instead of 533 bikes, it's going to be the 222 bikes. A single large container going to be coming. The other two, the other large and the small container, will be following after Chinese New Year. Kind of winds up somewhere February 14th, in that range, something like that.
Valentine's Day, baby. Hey, just to clarify that percentage, that is for bikes delivered in the U.S.?
That's the U.S. delivered bikes.
Great. Worldwide, again, we're, I think, even further than halfway in terms of bikes built and on the way, en route.
Yep.
Once they get to the U.S.
Yep.
and then go out from there, that's another status. So bikes delivered, shortly under half. Bikes that have been built and shipped out, shortly over half.
Right. So, like, for example, New Zealand, we've totally closed that out, minus one bike, and that is someone has not yet submitted their GST to us, and we'll ship that. And then I think there's another 3 or 4 bikes in New Zealand that we need to fulfill. Those will be handled on an LTL basis, so those will be coming later on.
Sweet. So the one guy in New Zealand, send in your GST and you get that bike.
Yeah, we want to get your bike for you.
Awesome.
You're wasting your summer. So next one is, we'll go right next door to the neighbors. A lot of people in Australia, I know, because I've been doing the address updates, 440 bikes on their way to Australia. Address verifications are out. We'll probably close that here probably on Friday. And then next thing you will see is a email asking you to submit GST. So we send you a letter, has all the banking information and amount. Once you submit your GST, then we will start moving the bikes out. Of course, we still have to clear customs and all that, so we're not ready to ship bikes just yet. Again, we're just getting to the harbor tomorrow. I guess today, Australia.
With Australia, what do you mean by close that out?
What do you mean?
You said we'll close Australia out. Do you mean sending out the address verification?
Yeah.
Got you. Great.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, we'll close the address verification here.
On Friday.
Yeah, on Friday.
So they've already gone out?
Yes.
Gotcha.
Yeah, they've been out for several days, and there's been a lot of them. Believe me, I spent that was the morning was doing address updates. It's kind of a manual process, but we do appreciate it. We know you guys want to get your bikes. If you haven't, if you've moved since you did the Indiegogo, please go in and update your address. We want to make sure you get your bikes.
Sweet. So Australia, you've got until Friday to get those changes in, or else that bike goes to wherever you put on your order.
Right. Exactly. Let's see. Look through my notes here. So that covers Australia. And then after that 440, that actually is about 95% of the bikes that we owe Australia. So we're very, very close. Again, same as New Zealand. If you weren't in that group, then we'll handle those on an LTL basis. And what that means is there'll be 6 or 8 bikes put on a pallet in a partial container. We're not going to be moving full containers, but we're still going to fulfill those on a timely basis. It's just we're trying to get this bulk through of the early orders, and then we will follow up with the rest of those.
So I must have made a mistake then in the last production update. We have written that Australia is approximately 3/4 fulfilled, so it's actually 95%.
I think it's closer to that. Yeah, I think it's about 95%. I'll go back and if you want, I'll take it. I'll when we're done, I'll bail out. I'll check the numbers and I'll come back. We want to have accurate numbers.
That'd be great because before I had thought that was pretty much all the Australian orders, and then I saw this written in the update, so I
may have been conservative on that. I will, before the end of this webcast, I will go get a good number.
Awesome. Thank you, Troy.
All right. Okay. We can move on to Europe. So in terms of the EU, I think we told you a little bit last week. We had some issues where we had sent bikes to the wrong addresses. That was our distribution partner, but again, I'm not going to throw them under the bus. They work for us. It's our responsibility. So we're taking care of that. Some people decided to keep the bike they got, which in some cases there were some very low volumes of some, kind of threw off our fulfillment a little bit. I think Of those 130 were cleared, we're going to be one bike short because somebody kept a bike that was kind of unique and left us one short. So I'm working to try and get that bike replaced. We're going to be in contact with that person, offer them some alternatives also if they don't want to wait. So all those are going back out. I do monitor social media. I'm seeing people in Germany and the like that have gotten their bikes. So that's pretty exciting. So those are taken care of. The next group is leaving on Friday and is headed for, again, for the Netherlands for a second EU group. 130 bikes. Everyone should have their address confirmations, and I've already seen some of those. I've been updating some of those addresses also this morning. So please get those in as quickly as you can. We want to make sure you guys get your bikes.
Hey, quick question from Julenko. Will we get the extra equipment at the same time of the bike?
So the answer to that is no. Right now, we're fulfilling bikes, and especially all of the extra equipment. Now, in terms of the EU, those bikes are being built in Spain, but the extra equipment, the extra batteries, the touring packages, and that is all coming from China. Since we're fighting kind of container space, what we want to do is try and get as many people their bikes as we possibly can. We think that's fair. I don't know what the expectation was originally set, but yeah, those are going to be coming along, but you're not going to get those at the same time as your bikes. But I can give an update, at least for the US and Canada, about the touring packages here in a second. So, but again, next 130, moving to Netherlands, moving into distribution, and those will be shipping out. We're kind of all over our partner about that, so I think they're going to perform a little bit better in terms of the notifications and the rest of this. Make sure that the right bikes go to the right folks.
Awesome.
Yep. UK. I didn't get them out this morning, but probably by the end of the day, the UK address verifications will be going out. That'll be about 131 bikes also. These are moving by truck, not by container. That's why the volumes are a little bit smaller than when we talk about the US, or 220 per container. This will be on a truck, 130 bikes. Those address verifications will be going out again, probably end of the day today or first thing tomorrow. So get those in. Those are going to be moving to a different distribution partner in England that I think comes pretty highly recommended, and I think they're going to perform very well for us.
Fantastic.
I do want to clarify, I misspoke last time. I said Ireland is going to be fulfilled from the UK. That is wrong. We're going to be fulfilling the Ireland from the Netherlands, and that's just because of the Brexit thing. There's still some legacy things, my understanding, between England and Ireland, or the UK and Ireland, so it's easier to fulfill from the Netherlands. So it shouldn't delay your bikes. I handle all the allocations. The bike goes here instead of there. That's kind of how that works.
Awesome. Hey, quick note to everybody asking questions here. If it's not a Troy question, I will be handling every question after Troy's segment here. So keep the questions coming, and we will be responding to each of those later. Troy did just give an update on the UK 131 bikes.
Yep.
Getting address verifications. When is that?
Probably go out tomorrow, realistically.
Tomorrow.
Yeah, I give those to Ben, and he sends those out, and
Great.
he's in another project right now. So the list is ready to go. I just need to give it to him, and then he just does a little mail merge type of thing, and the emails go flying out. So I would expect to see those tomorrow.
Fantastic. Do you know when? Which shipping company will be used in the UK? Putting you on the spot.
Yeah, Tufnells.
Tufnells, if you're familiar with it.
Tufnells, I believe it's one F and two L's. I kind of screwed that up, but Tufnells.
Tough nails. Tough as nails.
So yeah, our distribution partner is a company called Big Web Warehouse. Again, do a lot of fulfillment. Again, I think they're going to do a great job for us. Been working through their systems and the rest, and I'm confident they're going to get it right.
Fantastic.
Yep. Okay, touring packages. Again, talked a little bit about that. We're trying to get people their bikes. In the case of Spain and that construction, we're sending kits over. They come packaged as a kit, and then they're doing the assembly in Spain. Because of the issues we have with Chinese ports, we're trying to get bicycles out right now. We want to get as many people their bikes as we possibly can, and then we're going to follow up with the touring packages. So container 15, just so you know, container 11, 12, 13, and 14 are on the water right now. Container 15 is the next one that'll probably be leaving China. That is the one that will start us on the road to touring packages. We've got 310 touring packages. And what we're going to do is kind of opportunistically put touring packages in with bicycles. We don't want to, send an entire container of touring packages. One, because we don't have, that would be more touring packages than we actually need for the bikes delivered. So we kind of have to strike a balance here of keep bikes moving, and start fulfilling on touring packages. So that's going to work the same way. Oldest number first. So if you got a low number and you put in for a touring package, you're going to get those, and that's how it's going to be coming out. I have that list. I haven't done the allocation, but I basically know who's gotten their bike. So we're not going to send you a touring package and you won't have a bike and make you irritated or anything like that.
And those are for the U.S., correct?
Those U.S. and Canada.
So first touring packages going to the U.S. and Canada. 310 of them in container, which is on the water already.
That one is not. That's container 15. That one has not hit the water yet.
When will that hit the water? Do we know?
I'm thinking it's probably going to be next week.
Next week.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
I think we've got space reserved for that one.
Cool. Dave, I am reading your questions. They're not Troy questions. So once Troy is out of here, I will go through and answer every question, which is for me and not for him. Right now, Troy's got the spotlight in all logistics and distribution questions he will be handling. Brad says, great work on the improved communications. I have faith that the bike will be great. Thank you, Troy. Really, really, really do appreciate your hard work and all the communication and detailed work to make sure every bike is delivered to the right person.
That's right. They are great bikes. I mean, I'm not new. I've been riding for forever. Still own my very first bike that I ever bought for myself, because otherwise I rode hand-me-downs. And I came in, I talked to this guy, I rode the Baby Maker, and it was like, you know what, these guys have got something. So I understand your frustration and kind of the delays, but I mean, it's going to be worth the wait. It's a fantastic bike. It really is. Great ride.
100%. Dave says, Troy, you're a rock star, brother. Keep up the hard work. Drawn from the Water says, when are you and Troy going to have an arm wrestle? Maybe once all the bikes are delivered.
I think we're talking. We're talking about having this 100% party when the delivery when we're done. Then when everyone's got their bike and everyone is happy, then we'll relax and cut loose a little bit and maybe do some real entertainment.
Place your bets. All right.
Bet on the young guy.
Daniel says, I'd hate to get the touring package before my bike here in Canada. That will not happen.
That will not happen.
Daniel, they're just going out first to people who have received the bikes. Again, the priority is on bikes at the moment.
The priority is on bikes right now. Touring packages are coming along. I think I talked last week. We've fulfilled some of the extra chargers that people have ordered. The extra batteries we're working on, again, that becomes a whole container space issue. But we are working on getting the batteries. I'll have a better update. That's going to take a few weeks. We are really kind of up to our eyeballs right now and making sure the allocation is done and people are getting their bikes on time. So to me, that's more important. I know once you have your bike, now you want the rest of your stuff. But again, kind of in the sense of community, let's try and get everybody their bike, because they're waiting and they're excited about getting their stuff. They want to have as much fun on their bike as you guys are having.
Fantastic. Is that it for your update, Troy?
That is all of it. I will go get the Australia percent and come back and interrupt you.
Fantastic.
And if there's some other questions that come up, let me know.
All right. Dave did say, sorry, Rob, my money is on Troy. All right, Troy, thank you so much.
All right, we'll work it out. I got to win this thing.
Could you give Jason a holler, ask him to come in here?
I will do that.
Thank you very much. All right, next visitor we will have in the live is Jason. He's coming in to answer any mechanic-based questions.
Hey,
What's going on, dude? Good to have you in here.
Thanks, man. Thank you.
So, a quick word about Jason. He is our shop manager, expert mechanic. And you want to give us a bit of a background? If you can get a little closer to the mic so everybody can hear you.
Yeah, for sure. Basically, I'm a mechanical guy in many, many ways. DIY for a long time. I built my own electric vehicles. Started out as a kid messing around with things like RC cars. Not super different from electric bikes, electric skateboards. Finally, after I had a 20-year career as an auto detailer, decided to make my stance in the e-bike world. Couple of companies before FLX, but found my place as a really professional inside of FLX. Great place to grow, great place to learn. Have brought a tremendous amount of knowledge and have learned a tremendous amount about the e-bike world, about the business itself. I'm here to absolutely put what I've learned in the past to work, and it's worked out really, really well. Super happy to be here at FLX.
Hell yeah, Jay, we're totally blessed to have you on the team. He's an absolute rock star. He's super humble, so he's not going to tell you. All I have to tell you, he has been crushing it in the shop. We had some bikes that were just sitting there that needed this or that component for about a year, and he went through over the last couple months, what, 20, 30 bikes?
Just over 30. I think it was like 33 or 34 bikes.
34 bikes got back online. We also had a big stash of batteries that were just sitting there. They were warranty replacements where a battery went bad or had a small issue. We replaced it, and they were just sitting there. And for months, years even, for a couple batteries. And what have you done recently?
I've been going through testing the batteries in that regard that have been sitting there, finding the ones that are completely dead. Otherwise, finding the batteries that just need simple work. There's a part inside of a battery called a battery management system. This controls mostly the charging of the battery, but it also can create some issues with the discharge side of the battery as well. But figuring out what's wrong with the batteries and making them work again.
Totally. And he's doing a deep dive. Like, we're testing individual cells,
yeah.
testing the BMS, groups of cells. So the idea is, we don't want to throw out batteries. We don't want to chuck lithium batteries in the dump.
Nah.
99% of these batteries can be recovered with a new chip. And the ones that cannot, where there's a bad cell or bad group of cells, those will be recycled and sold. So
Totally.
Super excited about that, Jason, going way above and beyond. He's here to answer any questions. If you got mechanic questions about the Baby Maker, about other bikes, he's here to answer. And if you want to just start off, any common things you see on the Baby Maker, any tips as far as maintenance, how to keep it nice, etc.
Yeah, no. So the with e-bikes, my biggest recommendation, and it's more specifically regarding lithium ion technology. There's a phenomena that occurs called self-discharge. So my point basically being, you don't want to let your bike sit without either riding it or putting a charge on it for too long. Otherwise, the battery itself will slightly discharge enough to the point where your battery can just die. So I would recommend, if you live in a place that has inclement weather, rain often or snow through the winter seasons, make sure that you do maintain the battery charge level. You don't necessarily have to keep it at 100% fully charged all the time, but I would definitely put it on the charger once every month, maybe once every month and a half, to make sure that there is still some usable juice inside of there. Saves you some money, saves me the time when the bikes have to come back to me. But in general, that's my biggest recommendation for maintenance of the bike. Otherwise, it's a bicycle to begin with. If you have the Baby Maker standard, you'll want to make sure to replace the gearing as needed as it wears out, replace stretched chains as necessary, generally keep the bike clean. The biggest nemesis, there are two big nemesis, if you will, to electronics in general: water and dust. Often the reason that most companies will try so hard to create a product that is IP certified 64, 65 or higher, and what those numbers really indicate is the water and dust resistance capability. So keep the bike clean, keep the bike from really being soaking wet. You don't want water ingress inside of the bike. The bike is built really well to keep the water out, but by no means is it a submarine. So any time that the bike gets wet, I would really recommend make sure that you dry off the heavy spots.
100%. Hey, we have a great video on that. If you look up, I think it's Baby Maker in the rain or something like that on our YouTube channel. We took the Baby Maker out in torrential downpours. It handled it like a champ. And afterwards, Jason gave some tips on how to take care of the bike, drying it off with a rag, etc., to minimize potential for ingress and really maximize the lifespan of the bike.
Absolutely.
On the battery, just a quick note on that. Certainly want to keep it charged every month and a half or so. The best thing you can do is get a little discharge on it. So even if you're in the cold, if you want to do a little polar ride, put a couple miles on it. That's really going to go a long ways to protecting that battery, prolonging its life.
Definitely. That lithium ion, it wants to be used. It is a power source.
Dave has a question for you. Jason, I'm thinking of getting a new seat for both my Pro and Standard Baby Maker bikes and been looking at new seat posts. What are the diameters in millimeters?
That's a great question. I meant to bring a spec sheet in here regarding the Baby Maker specifically. I believe that that it's 30.4 millimeters. I have so many bikes to deal with here at FLX that often, some of the parts change between the models. But 30.4 for the seat post. You can find that on Amazon if that was something you were looking for. We have replacement seat posts, but we're generally going to have just the same one that came out of the bike. But Amazon, local bike shops, great resources for any replacement parts. The key way that FLX designed the bike is that it is modifiable from the standpoint of most of the mechanical stuff. If there's something that you wanted to change out, we can always kind of recommend what we would think would work best for you. Our customer support can do that. They can ask me, what might work best. And if you just generally wanted to try something out, I would absolutely, thanks, Mark. I would absolutely recommend hitting us up or seeking your local bike shop for some questions. They can, or for some part knowledge. They can definitely help you there too.
One of our other mechanics just dropped off the spec sheet that Jason was talking about. Let's see if your memory is good.
Yeah.
What have you got? I'm going to read through the questions while you check on that.
Okay.
Pierre, in terms of Canada, we did have an update for that earlier, and I'll be chatting about that a bit here. Right now, strictly mechanic style questions for Jason, and then I will be going through and catching up on all the other questions from you guys after Jason's segment. One last thing on that seat post, you mentioned checking out other seats and stuff. They can put any other style seat directly on the stock seat post, correct?
Absolutely. Yeah, the one thing about that seat that you want to make sure if you wanted to install it is that it's a double rail seat. If you were going to install a new seat on the seat post that comes with the Baby Maker, the two rails on the bottom of the seat will easily rest inside of the seat post. You'll be able to clamp it down. And there's a variety of seats out there, a ton of different manufacturers with different comfort levels. And realistically, I haven't found a seat that you could not install on the Baby Maker.
It's a universal standard, unless it's wacky, goofy clown seat. It should fit on your current seat post, so you shouldn't need to change that out unless you wanted a suspension seat post or something like that.
True. Yep.
Size of the seat post, that's 30.4 millimeters. Is that correct?
That's correct. Yeah, that's the diameter that will fit inside of the bike's frame into the seat tube.
Somebody drawn from the water says, I'm going to remove the Baby Maker logo and replace it with Dark Destroyer.
Hey, man, it's your bike. You customize it, make it how you want it. I'm sure that there's a ton of different ideas out there. We love to see them, so please share those, tag us in videos, Instagram, and otherwise. We'd definitely like to see those kind of things.
So Drawn from the Water also asks, is it true you can remove the Baby Maker logo with a hairdryer on it?
To be honest, I haven't tried to remove the logos on the bike myself. Rob can probably speak to this a little bit better than myself, but I believe that the stickering is underneath the clear coating on the bike. Yep. So it's going to be quite difficult to probably remove those stickers, to be totally honest. You could install something like a graphics kit. There are vinyl wrap kits out there. And when you do something like that, you could ultimately have a bottom graphic that would essentially replace where the Baby Maker is located, the Baby Maker logo. But plenty of options out there. I just think it's going to be pretty difficult without damaging the integrity of the paint and the clear coat that's over the paint coat.
100%. Jason's right on that. The graphic, the decals are under the clear coat. So we put the base paint on, so the orange paint, for example, and then the decals, and then 1 or 2 layers of clear coat over that. So you will not be able to remove that decal with a hairdryer or anything for that matter without really busting up the clear coat and ruining the entire paint job. So if you did want to modify that, we recommend sticking something over it or a complete repaint of the bike. All right, let's see. Do you recommend armored tires? Daniel asks.
Armored tires, so something like a Kevlar reinforced type of tire, I believe is what you mean. Something that would be puncture resistant. It really depends on the type of rides you're going to go on, or more specifically, the places that you're riding the bike. You can't go wrong when you reinforce the tires. It's just going to save you time if you were to pop a tire or riding through areas that could pop the tires. I would absolutely say, yeah, armored tires are a possibility. The one thing to note is that you want to stay within the proper size range. Too fat of a tire won't work. I believe that the bike comes with a 700 by 28C tire. That being said, I think that you could step up like 1 tire width. That would be a 700 by 32. Any bigger is probably going to be too wide, where the tire is going to run into either the seat stay or the chain stays. So you just want to be careful of that. Otherwise, I say go for it. Armored tires cannot hurt.
Sweet. On that, again, there is a video detailing. We show with the calipers exactly kind of how wide you can go if you did want to put a wider tire on your Baby Maker. Search our YouTube channel for Baby Maker tire width, and you should find that video.
Sure.
Somebody asked, do you know the gear ratio for the standard? Thinking about switching to a smaller ring. That's going to be a tough one. Let's test how detailed that spec sheet is. Jason's going to look that up.
So let me take a look here. So on the standard, you basically have a 52 tooth front chain ring by 16 tooth rear cog on that bike. The gear ratio is going to be 3 1/4, 3.25 and to 1. You're slightly limited in certain. So I'm sorry to stutter because it puts some thought to what you could possibly do. I haven't personally changed the gear ratio on it. Again, sizing of the front chain ring is something that you can't necessarily go too big. You could definitely go smaller. Just to give a little bit of advice on that, when you increase the size of the front chain ring, you're going to gain more torque. When you decrease the size of the rear cog, you will also increase the amount of top speed. So keeping in mind what a fine place for you would be. I couldn't speak to exactly what the limits are as I haven't really tested it, but that does bring to mind a good couple of experiments just for peace of mind and for knowledge out there. I would say keep watching, stay up to date. I'll put the bike through a couple of tests, and we'll see what the gear ratios, what you could fit in there capably.
Totally. Hey, just to clarify that, so if you want higher top speed, less torque, you're going to want a bigger front chain ring or smaller rear cog.
Correct.
If you want the opposite of that, so better hill climbing, more torque, but a lower top speed, you'll want a smaller front chain ring and a bigger rear cog. Either of those will do.
Correct.
All right. Walter asked, if I'm starting my ride, should I start on the lowest setting and just pedal such that I still accomplish the discharge of the battery? I'm not sure what the goal is. If that's just to discharge the battery, like for storage, then yeah, you would actually want it in the highest setting. That will give you the biggest discharge of the
biggest
battery.
discharge, correct, yeah.
Great. Can you ride the bike without the pedal assist, without putting too much strain on the rear wheel or damaging it?
Absolutely. Basically, the rear hub motor that's in that back wheel, If you were to ride the bike with the system completely turned off, it actually doesn't put any extra stress. There is a set of what they call reduction or planetary gears inside of that hub motor. This makes it so that you can actually turn the electric motor with very little resistance to the legs. But if the motor's completely turned off, it basically just turns on a set of bearings that are inside of that motor. So absolutely, you can ride the bike turned off with it with no worry. It's not going to damage anything.
It's exactly the same as riding any single speed bike. You know, there's not going to be any extra stress doing that. All right. Somebody asked, what is the expected lifespan on the belt for the Babymaker Pro? Any maintenance intervals required?
That's a great question. So I can't speak to the full longevity, as the belt drive is something that's fairly new to myself, just in practical use. I would say that there are YouTube videos using the Carbon Gates belt drive, people that attest to the fact that they can ride that thing for 100,000 kilometers, which is equal to, I believe, around 60,000 miles. Absolutely tremendous. There is no chain on a bicycle that I have ever seen last nearly as long, not even a tenth of that, probably not even a 20th of that. So absolutely, you can guarantee that that belt's going to be on your bike for a very long time. Maintenance for that belt is actually limited to none. You really, I would say, you know, if it gets muddy, get the dust off of it, get the mud off of it. But outside of that, very little maintenance. What you have is a carbon fiber threading that has a polyurethane exterior. The polyurethane is going to stand up excellently well to water and everything else that it could experience out there on the road. Part of the reason that I believe that it lasts as long as it does, the carbon fiber threading inside of that belt is tinsel as strong as you can possibly imagine. It's not going to stretch on you or really wear out anytime soon. The one thing that I would say to possibly avoid is over tensioning the belt. That's just going to make it a lot harder to actually pedal the bike and to keep the bike cruising along at a comfortable rate. But outside of that, generally very low maintenance to none, and you should be able to get, I mean, I'll say 5,000 miles, but again, there are YouTube videos at 60,000 miles, just tremendous for that belt.
Pretty nuts. So official information from Gates is a replacement schedule of, it's either 3,000 or 5,000 miles, something like that. Don't quote me on that, but people are doing 18,000, 60,000 miles on these with minimal issues. So if it's not broke, I wouldn't worry about fixing it. You know, ride that thing until you get a belt skip or anything like that. There's not going to be a big issue. Were you there when we made the video testing the strength of the belt?
That was tremendous. Lifting Rob's transit van with a forklift, using the belt to lift the back. I thought for sure there's no way that this thing is going to lift the car. It is definitely going to snap on us, and it absolutely did not. It lifted the vehicle and it can hold it there just hanging. Very, very impressive for something that I don't know if I would call it technology, as it's just, you know, a couple of carbon fiber pieces with polyurethane wrapped around it. But that thing is so strong.
Yeah. So if you guys missed it, and you can search on our YouTube channel, this one again, it's How Strong is the Gates Belt, I believe it's titled. We strapped it onto my van, and we picked up the van using a thin, you know, it's less than half an inch thick belt, the same belt that drives your Babymaker. Super strong. And then we took it off, and there was no stretching or anything on that belt. You could probably use it again. That one we won't be sending out to customers, but it was pretty impressive. All right, so, Denny asked, what is the replacement cost of the belt? Have we got those up on the shop?
We don't have those listed on the shop yet. I believe that it's going to be somewhere between $70 and $100. It won't be much more than buying it direct from Gates themselves. That's not where we're trying to stake our place in the market. So we're going to get you the parts that you guys need for a very competitive, or rather reasonable cost.
Yeah.
Again, not much more, if at all.
Yeah, it should be same price as Gates or wherever else you get it, pretty standard pricing. But let's get that up soon. Good point.
Sure, yeah.
All right, last question, Jason. I guess it's not a question. Somebody said on YouTube there's a chap who cycled the world on a belt system. He used it for 10 years without any issues. That should be a Gates belt drive. That's exactly what we're
Yep.
talking about.
Yep, that's awesome, man. Absolutely awesome.
Awesome. All right, Jason, you can't hear it because your headphones are off, but I'm giving you a big round of applause here. Thanks so much for the detailed answers and the hard work.
Yeah, right on, man. Always, anytime.
We'll see you later, brother.
Yeah.
If
take
Jason, if Ben or Sarah are out there, why don't you send them in? If not, I'll handle it from here.
care. Cool. I'll just leave this here for you.
Awesome, dude. Thank you so much.
No worries.
All right. Okay, I understand there are a lot of questions that did not apply to Troy or Jason, so I'm going to run back in the comments, read through them, and answer any questions that were not answered yet. I hope these guests are valuable for you guys. Bring in different members of our team to answer various aspects. I'm by no means the smart guy in the group. You know, we get this far by surrounding ourselves with people way smarter. You know, Jason, bike mechanic knowledge, etc. Troy with logistics. That's what really drives this company forward. So thank you guys for your patience with me. I'll do my best for the rest of the questions. All right, I'm going to run back a little bit and catch up on these comments. Let's see, where were we? All right, Denny asked, would you be willing to offer a discount based on the fact that the date of delivery is so delayed? Sorry, Denny, unfortunately, we are not able to do that. Again, it is an Indiegogo campaign. Their delivery estimates or shipping estimates. What you're getting is a huge discount already on the product in exchange for a little bit of uncertainty and pre-ordering the product before we even build it. So unfortunately, there's no way for us to tell exactly when they will finish building. When we run the campaign, we do our best to estimate it. Some bikes went out earlier, some are going out later, and over the next few months, they will all be delivered pretty much in time with the weather warming up. So for everybody waiting, I totally understand your frustration, especially if you were expecting it sooner, and we apologize for that. But everybody here is working their asses off to get you these bikes and really do a quality job. We could have shipped a lot more bikes by now if we just went a bit more hands off and let our production partners do what they do. But we really want to take the time to do a quality job, pause production whenever is needed to make sure that we get a FLX worthy product in your hands. Current rough estimate of Indiegogo order numbers that are shipping out right now. MPF, again, it varies so hugely. There are some locations where we're only in the hundreds or the thousands in terms of an order number. There's other locations where we're in the 10,000s. That's an Indiegogo order number. And also to clarify, we also sold bikes on our website at the same time for people who wanted financing, etc. And those order numbers start in the 90,000s. So if you've got an order number in the 90,000s, there's not 90,000 bikes ahead of you. We're going by order date, not order number. So Indiegogo started at 1. Our website started at 90,000. Dave says, I'm based in the U.S., and if I get one of my bikes around March and get the Phantom board around March, I'll be a happy camper. Yo, Troy. Hey, thank you, David. Excited to get you that baby maker and Phantom as well. CR asks, what does the extra 2-year warranty cover? So that covers everything on the bike. The standard warranty is 1 year. The extended warranty is adding an additional year on that for a total of 2 years. It covers everything on the bike from manufacturing defects or just from failure. It does not cover wear and tear. So like if your belt wears down, if your cog wears down, this is a standard kind of wear item. A replaceable brake pads as well does not cover that unless something like the motor just stopped working and wasn't damaged due to you like crashing the bike. It will cover that. So battery, again, if the battery fails within that warranty period and you didn't light the bike on fire or something like that, it will be covered by the warranty. Antonio asks, podcast, maybe soon, where we talk about electric mobility. So keep an eye out for that, Antonio. Daniel says, I don't care about the color, just the right size and pro model. Keeping my fingers crossed for the email notification. Hell yes, can't wait for that to get to you, and especially the bike as well. A Crew says, long time still waiting for my baby maker contribution 10668 sterling. I gather I'm not getting it until the summer. We're expecting over the next few months to have pretty much all the pre-orders fulfilled. 10668, you are closer to the end of all the Indiegogo orders, so it will be a little bit further out than most of the orders. But over the next few months, again, spring, probably early summer, we should have those out. Joseph, hello, Rob and Troy. My original ship date was October, then changed to February. Can I still expect the bike to be delivered in February? Joseph, just to clarify that, predicting an exact date of when each bike will be delivered with the current global logistics landscape and also the production landscape and availability and delays on parts at the moment, predicting even the month is similar to launching a rocket ship and trying to land that rocket ship back down on a small landing pad. It is possible. SpaceX is doing it, and we're very impressed by that. But right now, there's so many variables, even just in the shipping process, that if we load up a container today, we can't even tell you what month it will arrive in the US due to delays in shipping, shipping availability, etc. So right now, unfortunately, I really wish we could give everybody an exact date of when that bike will arrive. We're just not able to do that at the moment. We're focusing all the resources on building the bikes, shipping them out, making sure they go to the right people. So what we can do is send you that address verification. That's when the bike is on the water and we've allocated one to you. So you can expect that, confirm your address. Once it reaches the fulfillment center, then we also send you a shipping notification. That's when you get your tracking number and you can have a much better idea. Okay, it's with FedEx. They'll tell you the actual date it will arrive. So long story short, we can't predict the exact date, but you will get emails from us along the way when it ships out, when it's on the water, and also when it goes from the fulfillment center to your door. Dave says, I got an email back in October and still no bikes, no complaints here. If I can sit in Iraq air hangar for weeks for a flight back to the US, a few more months to wait is no issue. When I get either of my bikes, I'm going to do my first ride in my Army uniform and post it to the Baby Maker page. Hey, I can't wait to see that. And that is very strange that you got emails in October and no bikes. If that's the case, please reach out to our support team. If you just reply to those shipping notifications or address verifications, if that's what they were. It could be that from that container where we were shorted bikes. So, Dave, if you got a shipping notification months ago and no bike, that is an issue we certainly want to investigate. The bomb shizzle, same thing for you as well. All right. Troy's back. I'm gonna give you a little intro song here. It's some classic rock for you. All right, Troy's back with a little update. What have you got?
All right, am I on?
Yeah,
You
why
hear
don't you
me?
scoot
All
over
right.
so they can see you too?
So we promised you some numbers, and here they are. So I think some of it's on the Indiegogo, but once the Canada are delivered, that's 360 roughly of 529 bikes. So that'll be 68%. So in this first go, we're going to close out 2/3 of the demands in Canada. New Zealand, we've delivered 125 of 127 bikes. It's 98%. Australia is 440 out of 461, so that's 95%.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, and U.S. fulfillment is, like I said, 36%. Someone asked how many is that? That's out of a total of about 5,600 bicycles. And then the EU, the 230, I actually take it back. It should be 260. I'm shorting myself a little bit. So when those 260 bikes are delivered in the EU, that takes us to over 25% of those bikes. So we're going to rapidly catch up on that. I know some people are asking about numbers. I have been listening. There are some bikes that we're actually getting ready to close out that configuration. If you, if it's a Baby Maker standard 23 dropper blue raspberry, we've probably built. Don't panic if you haven't gotten yours and that's your one, but we're building the last of those. There's some of those configurations we're closing out, and then there's others. The Pro 23 matte black uppers, sterling uppers, very very popular. We produce those in a lot higher quantity, and we're getting more and more focus on those as we close out some of these lower volume ones. So that's good for you. Those we'll be accelerating the delivery on those as we close out some of the other smaller volume.
Awesome.
Units.
Hey, Troy, on Europe, real quick.
Yeah.
I tried to give a better an estimate on this earlier. You'll have a better idea about how many bikes can we build in terms of a percentage of the total European orders with the components that have arrived at our Spain facility. Is that about 2/3?
Yeah, it is. I'd have to look. We had another container come in. I haven't updated the numbers. We had another container of parts come in, so that is in place now. It would be. I think the last number I gave you was 1,200 out of roughly 1,800 bikes. That was so we were at
That's
2/3, and we had another container come in. So and those are usually when they're kitted like that. Usually we get about 300 bikes kitted into a container, so that would take us to about 1,500 out of 1,800. What is that? I should be able to do the math quicker in my head.
1,500 out of
5,
1,800?
6, which is 16, 80%.
Sweet. Hell yeah. Awesome. All right. Thank you, Troy. Thanks
Alrighty.
so much for that update.
I did see one note. Someone said they got 2 confirmations, but only one bike. I'm sure you're still listening. Get in touch with customer service. They'll come back to me. We'll find all the tracking. We'll run your bike down. If you have a concern, get in touch with customer service. I'm the logistics guy. We'll run these down. We'll find out what happened to your bike. We want to make sure you get your stuff.
Sweet.
All right.
If you didn't get any email yet, hang tight
Yep.
for it. But if you got an email months ago saying your bike's on the way and it didn't arrive, shoot us an email, support@flx.bike,
You got it.
and we'll look into it. All right. Thank you so much,
you
Troy.
bet.
Big applause for you. All right. I'm going to burn through these questions. We are running a bit over time on the live, but I do want to answer every single one of your questions. So I'm going to do a lightning round here, get all the questions. And once we get to the end, I'll probably be ending this live. So if you've got questions, fire them away, and we will burn through these. All right, Dave said, consider making some Baby Maker helmets. It would be sick to get a Baby Maker helmet to match the same color on my bike. Dave, totally agreed with that. It would be awesome. Right now, our focus is on the bikes, but helmets are super important. Myself, I'd show you this if the camera would reach. I've got 18 staples in the back of my head from a stupid skateboarding accident with no helmet. So I, of all people, do recognize the importance of the helmets. And if y'all are riding out there without helmets, that's dangerous business. All right. Who's the carrier you're using for Spanish deliveries? Mike, I'm not sure on that one. Unfortunately, I don't have the answer. Troy will have an answer. It might be TNT, but I'm probably wrong on that. Walter said, I don't see any helmets. Right now, we do not sell helmets. So you can go to Amazon, another bike shop. In the future, it's something we'll be looking into. In fact, developing our own helmets, but I can't tell you too much about that at the moment. Mark said, I'm waiting. Should be great. Order September 4th direct from FLX. Mark, thank you for your patience. The bike will be going out to you soon. Again, we don't have an exact date for you, unfortunately, but over the next few months, we're going to clear through pretty much all of the pre-orders. Noggin, I'm anxiously awaiting my bike, especially after my test ride last year, but your transparency and updates are awesome. Hey, thank you so much. We really appreciate your patience, sticking with us while we do get on top of all the logistics and supply chain challenges. It hasn't been 100% smooth sailing, but every single challenge, we figure out a way to get over it, get through it, and make sure we get you the bikes. Tim, I was wondering if COVID-19 was going to set the delivery time back a bit. I was told my baby maker was set for December. Now it's Feb, March. Tim, yeah, great point. When we started the campaign, everything we saw was that COVID would not affect anything. Our factories were still online. What the biggest challenge was actually components. Nobody could have predicted this, but while all businesses were shut down, transportation businesses were allowed to stay open, and people not being able to go to the gyms, bikes became a great alternative. So bike sales did take off around the world, not just for us, but for every other company as well, which led to a massive shortage in the availability of not just the components to build the bikes, but also the individual pieces to build the components, for example, for the brakes, etc. So that really increased lead times way past our expectations on almost every part to build the bike. But we are managing, we are getting through it, and we will be delivering those bikes. Did I miss the lovely Grace yet? Chris, as far as I know, we don't have a Grace working here. Perhaps you're talking about Sarah, who was in the last live. She's out filming a video right now. Maybe you're talking about Sarah Grace. At some point in the future, once all bikes are delivered, will baby makers become available for sale at your location in San Diego for others? Yes, Walter, they will be. First, we're going to get through all the pre-orders. We're not building bikes to sell to new orders while there's so many pre-orders outstanding. So every single pre-order will be delivered, and then available bikes will come into our shop for retail sales. Denny says, when I get my baby maker, I'm going to put a carbon fiber vinyl on it. That's awesome. I can't wait to see that. Pierre. Yo. All right, Troy's back. Troy, what have you got for us?
Third time's a charm. So I know the question was about who is doing the fulfillment. So in the EU, it is CTS Group is the company that is doing the fulfillment. When we send when Action Fulfillment Solutions, the company in the Netherlands that actually does the warehouse and all of that. By the way, don't contact Fulfillment Solutions directly because they're not going to be able to help you. To them, it's just another number. But so always come back to us. But Fulfillment Solutions does the warehousing and unpacking, and then CTS Group does the actual distribution. So when your package is on its way, you will get a link that you just click on and go straight there, and you can see your tracking. And you can also sign up for some notifications there. So that's that.
Awesome. Thank
All
you,
right.
Troy. One more round of applause for Troy. Thanks, Troy. All right. Let's see. We're almost caught up on these questions here. Walter, was the goal reached for the upgraded display? Yes, it was. That was the $3 million stretch goal. And if you scroll back to that update when we did announce it, there was a bit of controversy around that. But when we announced it, we said we're going to put this upgraded display on all the bikes unless it slows down production or doesn't live up to our expectations. When those first 1,000 or so bikes were ready, the display wasn't ready. So we didn't want to delay your bike. So those first 1,000 bikes went out with the original display that was tried and true. We did put upgraded firmware on it to achieve the 28 mile per hour top speed. However, those first 1,000 went out with the original display. Everything after that, once the new display was completely tested out, lived up to our standards, they are getting the newer upgraded display. So apologies if there was any confusion around that. We did do what we said we were going to do with the displays, and everybody outside those first 1,000 bikes, they're getting the newer display, also some other upgrades. So the drawback is a lot of folks have been waiting longer than expected for the bikes, but the plus side of that is you're getting a lot more experience along with that and some upgrades to the bikes as well, because we do upgrade them as we go along and learn lessons. Let me fix that camera. All right, that's a little better. Jeff says, Rob, can you help me choose the classes for next semester? Choose something useful that you're interested in, Jeff. Let's see. Most of these were answered with Jason in here. All right. Jane said, thanks for the open communication. Just checked up on the UK distribution company Tough Nails and says they have a poor customer service score, just to let you know. Hey, thanks for the heads up on that. We will look into that. I'm sure Troy's been watching, so he's going to check that out. Jane says, great math, Troy. Absolutely. Yo, we're almost caught up on the comments here. So once I do catch up on the questions, if there are no new questions, I will be signing off as I do have a lot of other work to accomplish. I really appreciate you guys coming on here, spending the time with us today, because there's a lot to communicate about the process, and it's great to be able to do this in person. In the future, we'll try and get you guys in on these lives as well, so we can actually have a real conversation with a few writers. Chris Link says, any news for low volume country shipment? Yes, Chris. Mackie has been working very hard on that, low volume locations. So he's been getting quotes and a load of details in terms of tax implications, et cetera, from many different vendors and freight forwarding companies around the globe. So putting all those together, and then we'll basically just go down the list in terms of the highest volume and easiest ones to ship, and start shipping those out, putting them into our distribution plan. So if you are in a lower volume location, that's anywhere outside of the US, Canada, Europe, Australia, New Zealand, you can expect to hear from us in the coming weeks and months regarding your order. Eric says, based on what he was just saying, does an order for a less popular SKU mean you will likely get your bike sooner? First, matte black, for example. How popular was the Green Pro Bullhorn? Eric, great question. The Green Pro Bullhorn was quite popular. It was probably the top third or fourth variation behind silver, matte black, and orange. Yeah. Um, And no, I can't predict if that would make it sooner or later. In general, it's pretty much in order of when you place the order. The SKUs do modify a little bit, but it shouldn't change it more than a couple hundred places in line either way, unless there's a big delay on a certain component. But pretty much in order of when you placed it, I wouldn't expect any drastic changes to your delivery. Bob Buck ordered my bike last April and still waiting for delivery. Bob, I get it. I get that you're really anxious to get it, and also that our shipping estimates were for sooner than January of this year. So we can't thank you enough for your patience, and apologies for the miscommunication or misestimate there. The bike is coming. It will be well worth the wait. Trebnod, hi Rob. I know the custom delays in the EU of around 6 weeks. However, the estimate I got was October, and I'm now being told the middle of Feb at a minimum so far. I get delays, but that's a lot. Trev, absolutely, I hear you. Um, so with EU, to clarify that a little bit, there was about a 6 week delay in customs of our first container into the EU, which we ship the components and then we build them in Spain. What happened is those things were held up in customs for weeks and weeks and weeks, and without getting an answer from them in terms of what's going to happen, are they going to send them back, are they going to confiscate them? We couldn't send the following containers until we had resolution on that, because we didn't want to lose a container in another container and be further back. As you know, components are in very high demand right now, so we want to make sure every component we ship does get delivered to be able to build a bike. So that did cause a downstream delay, because that had to be resolved before the rest could be shipped. It's not just Europe, but all over the world, where a lot of the orders, most of the orders even, are being delivered after those initial estimates. Again, they were estimates based on our best knowledge at the time. We now know more than we knew 8-9 months ago. So current estimates are the next few months, basically all the orders will be delivered. Mark, on Amazon with lights too, lots of helmets, seat pedals, mirrors, etc. Yeah, if you guys have got your baby maker and you're looking for any custom parts, helmets, etc., Amazon is a great place to shop. Very, very reasonable prices, especially things like We're seeing different handlebars being installed, different stems. Good place. Drawn from the water, England, UK deliveries have been slow compared to the rest of the world. Is that because of Brexit? Um, Not necessarily. It's more geographic, drawn from the water, because there is not a land connection per se for England. We do have a different fulfillment partner in England, so we have a two distribution centers in Europe. One is in the Netherlands, one is in the UK. So UK bikes are going out from a different fulfillment center. So it's just separated by fulfillment center. The first ones went to Europe. The second round of bikes, those are going to the UK, and we're just basing it on that. So there will be shipments direct to the UK, shipments to Europe as well. Dave says, don't advertise Amazon for helmets. Amazon got enough money as it is. As soon as the BMs are delivered, start promoting some Baby Maker helmets. Stay safe, brother. Thank you so much, Dave. Yeah, Amazon does have a ridiculous amount of money agreed there. So once we do get helmets, you can order those direct from us. Mike says, what does the name FLX mean? Great question. So FLX initially was Flux, FLUX. All the OGs out there, if you were with us from the start of the company in 2014, 2015, you may be familiar with that. Flux is basically is a state of magnetic change, especially motors, electronics, and that's what we wanted to do, to change the world, change how we get around, stop taking cars, polluting the environment, and use some clean transportation. Go around and have fun. Stop building bikes with all these disgusting, huge batteries, wires everywhere. Change up the industry a bit and make a sexy bike that's fast, sleek, and something you would be proud to ride. True to its name, Flux, which means change. We did change the name. We dropped the U just to get trademark protection worldwide on that. We changed that in 2016. Mark says, get your own logo on a helmet. Thank you. Thanks for the update and useful mechanical info and all. Look forward to getting my Baby Maker whenever that may be. I know it'll get here. Thank you, Jane. Whenever it will be, you'll get the bike. It will be well worth the wait. We appreciate your positive attitude and your patience. It's going to be well worth it. Chris, thanks for the infos, Rob. God bless you always. God bless you too, Chris. Appreciate you coming on to watch. Mark, thank you. Thank you for watching. Mike says, is it possible for you to publish the BM spec sheet? Great question. I will chat with a team about that, and you may be able to see that in a future update from us. Pierre, hi, Rob. You said my name but didn't answer the question when Troy came back. Oh, sorry about that. For Canadians, any update on the second container stranded in China? Is that the container number 15? All the best. Thanks, guys. Pierre, I don't have an exact answer on that. There was the second container for Canada that's waiting to get on a boat. And Troy, if he's watching, he may be able to give you a better answer on that. If not, please hang tight for the next update, which should go out on Tuesday of next week, and we'll give you a definitive answer on that. BCA, what's the status in the Spain factory now? How many bikes are you able to ship from the Spain to the rest of EU a week, month? BCA, that does depend on the availability of components. We've shipped out the first few hundred bikes or so far. Troy will have a better answer for that, exactly how many. We do have approximately enough components for 1,200 bikes out of the 1,800 or so orders in the EU. So that's about 2/3 of all EU orders, including the UK, that we can build and ship within the next few weeks and months here. Again, over the next few months, virtually all of the orders will ship. Do you know who the courier is for the UK? Can you say? That was Tuffnells, Tuffnels, I believe, Trebnod. MPF says support local bike shops. Hey, thank you for that. How many have been sent to UK so far, Rob, Troy? Drawn from the water, that is approximately 130. Troy answered that earlier. It's approximately 130, give or take 10 bikes. Any new model bikes coming out? Pat, the Weapon is coming out soon. That's going to be a over the next few months. Basically, once all the baby makers get kind of delivered, you should be able to see that weapon launching. If you go to, I think it's weapon.flx.bike. I'm going to search this again. I got the link wrong last time. I'm going to try and get it right this time. And I will send you that. Yeah, sweet. I'm going to send you a link right here. This is a bike that has been, that doesn't look right. This is a bike that's been in development for the past 3 years. We're so excited for it. It's a game-changing, full suspension electric bike. It's for the folks who literally want the best of the best in terms of components, performance. We're super excited about that. Again, top priority is on fulfilling all the baby makers. Once we round the corner on that and have basically everything done, that weapon will be coming out. So keep an eye out for that. Eric says, is there any chance of getting a battery system wiring diagram for those of us crazy enough to try to build a battery expansion for the baby maker? Eric, that's not something I'm sure we want to publish because we don't want a lot of bikes getting modified too heavily. They are quite simple. It's a, for your reference, 10S 2P battery, so it's pretty simple. And you should be able to, if you do take it apart, it will void your warranty, make any modifications you like on that. Mary L, late to the chat, ordered in October. When do you think I might get it to the US? Mary, again, I'm not able to give you an exact date on that. Where YouTube deleted our link? No way. That's crazy. I can't believe that. Okay, somebody else put it on there. Mary, I can't give you an exact date on that. It's going to be over the next few months. Pretty much every order will be delivered. If you ordered in October, you are towards the end of all the pre-orders, but it will be going out. Jordan's talking about Joe Biden. Not quite related to the bicycle chat at the moment, but appreciate you watching. All right, guys. It's 3:30 here. 30 minutes overtime today. There were a lot of questions. Thank you guys so much for watching. Really appreciate you guys coming on, taking the time to chat with us. We will be delivering all those bikes over the next few months. One last question. Gary House, order in June. Can't wait for my green baby maker. Thanks for the updates, Rob and team. Thank you, Gary. Thank you for coming on. Everybody else, thank you for your patience, for your support. We cannot wait to get you the baby maker. If you've got it already, enjoy, ride safe, and I will see you guys next week. Take care.